My career sucks.
Sex just isn't the same.
What's my purpose?
Where did this fat come from?
My relationship is killing me.
I'll never be happy.
My debt is piling up. I'll never find love. Why can't I be like other gay guys? Hey guys, it's time to get a grip, stop whining, make a bold move, and do something amazing with your 40-plus gay life. Let's get to the show with your Tell It Like It Is host, Rick Clemens, who does his best to never act like a dick or a diva unless you act like one first.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of 40 Plus Gay Men Gay Talk, and we're about to step into a threshold moment where we're going to talk about some stuff that could be tricky, could be testing us. It's going to go from masculinity to grief, to finding ourselves, to finding our path, to living beyond anything, and finally reclaiming who we are as men. And I know this is a tough thing for many of us gay men to do, because we have to define the difference between what does it mean to be masculine in our own way and be masculine in the world that we are. I'm really, truly looking forward to this conversation with this man. His name is Morgan Rich. He's a coach. He's an author. He's got some beautiful work that he's doing. He's actually navigating through some of his own stuff in a threshold moment right now. And I know we will talk about that. But I'd love for you to step in, be open, be willing, and be vulnerable as we talk through how do you find your way into the world in your way as a masculine gay man. So Morgan, welcome to the podcast, buddy. So glad that you're here.
Yeah, really nice to be here, Rick. Thank you. And just thank you for all the energy that you put in the world and standing for yourself and all the gay men out there and just the community. It's you do beautiful work.
Oh, thank you. It's a lot of caffeine. Let's just go. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
It is not a lot of caffeine.
And a lot of heart.
Every once in a while I say that, I'm like, no, folks, I don't drink a lot of caffeine. I have my one cup of coffee. Today is one of those weird days I'm having two, but it's a one cup of coffee a day. And then I move on as I'm getting ready to go visit my parents who drink coffee all day long. I'm like, I just can't. How do you? And then they're like, yeah, we don't go to bed till like midnight. And I'm like, well, I wonder why. You got so much caffeine pumping through those veins. But
yeah, well, and I would just say, Rick, that the energy that you put out there, I mean, it might be a little bit about caffeine, but really that what I sense in listening to some of your podcasts and just getting a sense of who you are is that you bring a lot of heart. And you bring a lot of heart to the world. And so, joking aside, it's that quality that really comes through.
Well, I appreciate that. And, I think part of it is we as gay men sometimes put our hearts on the table and walk away from them because we got to show up this way. This is who we need to be. This is how we need to show up and all those sort of things. And then we wonder why the path where we're trying to get to, we just can't get there. And much of this focuses around let's just start with like these threshold moments that, you do a lot of coaching around and those moments we meet. And yet, even when the stuff is hitting the fan, like I'm out of work right now, it's hitting the fan and I'm like, okay, but Rick, go do what brings you joy. Put everything into where your heart center is and the universe is going to smile on you. So how do you, like a guy comes to you and they're like, oh, I've got, work career thing going on or a relationship thing or, in your own world, you're experiencing threshold right now with the loss of
my mom. Yeah.
So how do you step into this with guys who are like, okay, yes, we're in the threshold. What is the thing that you feel like you are really amazing at that starts to help them move this thing forward?
Yeah, thanks. They're really beautiful moments. I mean, even with the death of my mom, like just being in the intensity of that moment. And what I like to say was what happened when death was in the room.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful. I mean, the connections that I had with my kids, the stories they were telling, the connection they had with my mom, the connection, we were in there together as a family in this really sweet spot in this hard moment, right? This moment of she's going to die soon. And so the training and what I am able to do in those moments is sit with people, is sit and listen really, that there's not a technique. There's not a plan. There's not here's the 3 steps that I follow to help you get through threshold moments.
Okay, here we are. We're in death room. Now you do this, you do this, you do this.
Exactly. And then everything will be grand. Like everything will just be great. It's like, no, that's not real. What's real is being right in the moment. And one of the things that I'm just able to do is listen. I like to say, listen with the ears of my heart. And so sit with people in those moments. I just lost a job. I know I have to leave my partner. I'm ready to get with my partner. Whatever those intense moments are, and breathe and stay calm and realize, like, even though this is challenging, this is real. Like, this is life. Like, this is the most delicious, meaningful moments
Yep.
that matter, that we look back on in our lives and really cherish.
Mhm.
And so here we are. We're
Yep.
right in it right now. And it's okay. Like, it's intense. There's a lot of feelings. There's a lot of things going on, but we're okay. And we can just listen for what emerges and see, how do we do the next breath, the next step, the next little thing to help move, and like really connect in with that heart space, that what is it, the path forward here.
That's so interesting, because we want to know exactly. We need the plan. We want the blueprint. We want the next steps. And as you were talking through that, a couple of things hit me in a pretty deep way.
Yeah.
I don't often go see my parents, not because there's any. I mean, there used to be a lot of strife, but they live in Idaho. I live in Central California, and we try to see him a couple of times a year. And Dad is, on his journey, early dementia, and he's great. He's still functional, all that stuff. But you just get these senses, right, that things are happening. So of course, lose the job. Okay, get back on the pony. Let's get going, which I did. I'm not one to sit around and go, oh my God, that's not who I am. First thing I did is like, okay, let's talk to book publishers and see how much that's going to cost me to get a book out. Like, let's go. Right.
Yeah.
But then one of the next thoughts that I had, Morgan, was this would be a really good time to go see Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
Because I've got the time and I can go do it. It's not like that. It's impossible. And we're recording this and I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm going to spend, 4 days with them.
Nice.
Because
Beautiful.
I knew I needed it, and it'll be good for them too.
That's right. And you just tapped into something, right? As I was sharing, like, something opened inside of you.
Yep.
Right. Like that emotional spot, that place of tenderness, that place of, oh, there's something in there that is a knowing, that is an instinctual kind of like that. Like, I know that this feeling, that this thing wants some energy, wants some attention.
Yep.
And so just for you to name it, for you to feel it, for you to feel the tears or the, emotion or whatever it was, there is just a gorgeous and beautiful and essential place. And so that's the threshold moment, is listening into that and going like, yeah, okay. So there's all this stuff that you could do.
Right.
All this, get back on the horse and get going and get moving and go and like, all that, get back in the efficiency train and the success. But probably in this moment, the thing that matters most and the thing that's like most successful is to go be with your mom and dad.
Yep.
And spend however long you spend with them.
Right.
Yeah.
The interesting piece of that is, I have my list of stuff I'm doing and everything. And as I've been planning this week, knowing I'm going to leave and knowing how I like to be with them, they love just sitting and chatting and, whatever. Mm-hmm. But they've gotten used to me being able to sit. They're sitting there chatting. I'm sitting at their dining room table, got my computer going, working away. And I'm very good at multitasking. And they're always fascinated by, oh, what are you working on? So I've specifically put certain tasks on my, hey, when I get up there on Friday, I know I'm going to do some work, but they're the tasks that don't require me to be headphones on, no client calls whatsoever. And be able to be present and feel them and I'm not going to say I'm going to work all day, but it's such an interesting thing how you even start to go, here's how I accommodate life. Yep. It's powerful when you take the threshold moment and you embrace it, number one, like you're doing even with the passing of your mom. And you go, I don't have to just stand here. I can step through and into and be with it.
Yeah.
What led you to this kind of training? I'm curious about that.
Yeah, boy, that's really interesting. I basically lived it. When I was 18, my dad died. And at that point in my life, I'd had I had dreams of being a professional hockey player. I went away to boarding school to try to pursue that dream. That dream crumbled in kind of an epic way. So there was a loss there. There was a huge amount of loneliness in my early life. And then I'm 18 at the threshold at, like one of the main, let's just call it thresholds, at least in the Western world, where the adolescent grows up, starts to become a man.
Yep.
And my dad dies.
Mm.
And so now here I am, and I am a really sensitive dude.
Mm.
I can resonate with you as a gay man, the idea of coming out. I wasn't coming out as gay, but I was coming out as emotionally attuned. I was coming out as sensitive. I was coming out as, here's this beautiful thing. I wrote a paper about friendship and love in my senior year of college, and got laughed at by the professor in the class because it was, oh, isn't that sweet?
Wow.
And I was just saying, like, these are the things that really matter in life. Like, these are the things that, like, this is the essence of who I want to be and who I am. And I'm getting laughed at and rejected. So I was thrust at that point in my life, my whole college sort of years, into darkness. And my soul emerged. I don't know how else to say it, that I didn't go down the road of substance abuse. I didn't go down the road of any kind of addiction, any kind of numbing. I just sat in the difficulty of it and felt the depth of loss and wrestled with life and with God, whatever version she or he or it is. And just was like, wow, this is so painful. Like, I am so confused and so lonely and so lost. And I can imagine it, but I can imagine it being like, knowing that you're gay and saying, I got to come out, or there's this thing in me that wants to like live and breathe, but I don't know how to, I'm not being seen. I'm not being loved. I'm not being held. And I've got this thing that's got to come out, but I don't feel any acceptance anywhere in the world.
Yes, but even what that professor did to you was the same thing. He laughed at this sensitive side of you that was wanting to come out and be seen and showcase, here's another element of what it means to be a man, to be masculine in your own way. And it gets laughed at. It still gets laughed at today. I mean,
totally.
Politics aside, just look at how much chest pounding and here's what real men do and all this sort of stuff that's going on. And it's sad in so many ways. And to hear you say and articulate this, Morgan, in the way that you just did, it is truly something that I felt like my audience would resonate with, because this constant push and pull, whether you're straight guy or gay guy, how do we show up as a man? Because constructs have always been here's the construct that we're supposed to live within. And then as soon as you step outside of that in any way, gay, well, they're a little sissy, they're sensitive, or he's a softie, straight guy, right? Suddenly it's like, boom, you are just not accepted. It has to have been hard. So where did, having lost your dad at a young age, where did this go for you? Were there other people, your mom, siblings, people in your world that constantly kept saying, ooh, you shouldn't be that? Was that where the crux of this masculinity crisis sort of came up for you?
It was just this place of having that thing inside of me that was wanting to come alive. And part of my journey, for whatever reason it was I couldn't find ground for it. Like, I couldn't find anybody to say, hey, my friend, like, I see you over there. Like, I see that caring heart. Like, I see you wanting to emerge. Like, I see all that beauty and care and love and tenderness and intensity that you bring. And that is beautiful. And I know you suck at school and you're bad at all the like things you're supposed to be good at in the world.
Right.
But what you have is you have an ability to relate to people. You have an ability to listen. You have an ability to care and to love. Like, that never happened for me until I was like 39 and I found Michael Mead, and I would call it the language of the soul. That is out there. And so, and again, like, my mom, bless her soul, she loved me in the best way that she could. Like, she really, really did. But she wasn't capable because she wasn't loved.
Right.
She wasn't loved in the way that she needed to be loved. She was abandoned, doesn't remember being touched as a kid. She had a rough go. And so for her to love me in the way that she could was beautiful, and it wasn't giving me this acceptance that I was so desperately seeking.
Ugh, you just hit a chord because I went through this myself. So I was
Yeah.
2009, I was going through my coach training. And so part of the coach training is mentoring. So you mentor somebody and somebody mentors you, and then you play coach, they play coach. Okay. So it was at a time where there was some roughness once again in the relationship with my parents around being gay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, I cannot believe we're going through this. By then I was 36. So 2009, I was probably right 45, 46. I'm like, it's been 10 years, mom and dad. And it's actually been further than that because I came out to them when I was 19 years old in college, went back in, came back out. Okay. And I decided to go there with my, mentor coach, like, okay, let's just, I'm really struggling with it. Da, 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 da. And the way you just said mom was doing the best she could was exactly what that coach said to me after I went off on something my dad had said. She goes, what if you could just accept he's doing the best he can in this moment? What if you could just embrace that each moment, what he says, that's his best he could? Because guess what, Rick? He's missing pieces of what he didn't get. And Morgan, it opened up such a huge doorway for me.
Yes.
To start to embrace and accept. And even when I get really frustrated with everything that's going on in the world and lots of people, I'm just kind of like, you know what? Honestly, unfortunately, they're doing the best they can. They're absolutely doing the best they can. As a human, that's a hard thing to navigate.
That's right.
Because you need to love me the way I want to love you. You need to. But I feel like part of the struggle in masculinity, especially in these complicated relationships that we as men, straight and gay, have, is there's no one's taught us, and there's no room to accept that vulnerability, openness, all of this. I mean, we're getting there. I have to say, we're definitely getting there.
Well, and when we say like, what is healthy masculinity? Right. We think of like all this posturing, all this like, chest pounding, like I'm strong and I'm this, like, no, that is so obviously weakness.
Well, it's because the world rewards toughness and the what I consider the worst parts of being a masculine guy.
Absolutely. And so the real masculine is this vulnerable, caring ability to be just what you displayed, like that moment of going like, I'm really touched. Like that really hit something inside of me. There's emotional availability. There's ability to be right there. And that is strength. That is the strength that we want to rely on. And the gift of my mom, like the real gift that she gave me, was I had to learn to love myself. That what I was seeking was something I was like, she doesn't love me the way that I need to be loved. She doesn't love me the way that I need to be loved. She doesn't love me the way, and I kept putting it out there, over there on everyone else. And finally I was like, okay, wait a second. I got to love me. Like that's my work. And so that was really the way that I got out of this. I got out of that darkness and the loneliness. I like to say the trouble with loneliness isn't that there's not other people. It's that I'm not with myself.
Yes.
And so that is the heart of this whole thing, is once, and you did it, once you accepted yourself as the beautiful gay man you are, and that your mom and dad aren't able to give you that gift in the way that you want it, you give it to yourself, and then you can be like, oh, they're doing the best they can. Like they just, for whatever, and this is like my mom, she loved me as the best way that she could, but she couldn't. There was ways that she couldn't see me, and I finally accepted it.
Right, as a parent, I see that in myself. There's times I'm like,
totally.
I'm just doing the best I can. Yes, I've evolved. I know that, but then there's times I'm like, okay, but Rick, you're kind of doing the best you can. How could you do better? And then also have the conversations with your kids in a way that says, hey, I may not be doing this the best I can for you. Tell me what you need. And this is the missing piece. I think this is part of we as men are afraid to have the conversations.
Totally.
And when
I'm supposed to have it all figured out. 100%. I'm supposed to have it all figured out. I'm supposed to know everything. Instead of going exactly like that, go to your kids and say, hey, I love you. I love you. And I know that I actually did this with my daughter, because there were some years after I divorced that were really hard. Like she felt really abandoned. And I just said, I apologize, and I love you like no to no end, and I know I have made mistakes, and I know I have fallen down and betrayed you in many, many ways, and I'm here now, and I'm doing what I got, and I'm willing to do that. And for me, that is strength.
Yes.
That's not weakness to say like, look, I really screwed up, and I made a mistake, and I'm not perfect, and I feel terrible about it. Like, that is, to be able to say that again, that means that I don't need validation from her or anyone else in the world, because I've got this, and I'm able to just say, I am not
But
perfect.
there's another interesting piece to what you just described, at least from my perspective, Mark,
Yeah.
is okay, I can be open, I can be vulnerable, I can say something like that, but I need to be good with that. I can't
Yep.
go now, okay, now I've done this. Now you need to do this for me to feel that. No, because if you do that, you're back in the same trap.
Correct.
Versus, and I'll use my parents as a really beautiful, beautiful example. There was such a time and place throughout the years. And there was a whole year I didn't talk to my dad. Absolutely. And it was horrible because my mom couldn't really talk to me except very briefly. And then you get to the moments where we talk to them over the weekend. Well, you get to the moments where even like last night, I'm like, oh man, I forgot to call mom and dad, because we kind of have this every other day check-in sort of thing going, right? You get to the moments where you check in. We're now both on the phone. My husband and I are both on speakerphone. And when you hear your dad say, well, we love you both. And George, you need to know, my husband's name is George. You
Mm-hmm.
need to know you're the best son-in-law we could have ever hoped for. Back from a day where we're not going to come show up for anything gay. We're not going to accept this whole thing. The interesting piece is you just need to show up accepting you. Yes, you want the acceptance from others, whether it's about divorce or whatever's going on. You want, because we all want that, right?
Yep.
But I believe one of the loneliest places we can be is holding somebody else hostage to create the happiness we think we deserve.
Totally.
Because that's
Absolutely.
where loneliness is going to set in big time.
Yep. And the threshold moments, and just like going back to those and all these different places, is like this is what happens when we start to get real and we hold those moments.
Yes.
Because we know the pathway forward. We know the conversations we want to have, need to have, what our heart really wants to do. And then when we do so, it breaks open all this possibility. It breaks open all this tenderness and strength. And then we don't have to spend time, like you're saying, in all that like crazy town of it being in your head about this person is doing this or this person is doing that, or what do they feel about this or what do they feel about that, and what if I say this, what if I say that? Like, it's all this noise that we spend just hugely lonely, stressed, anxious, whatever it is, and it's all made up.
Mm-hmm. It's
And
all
so
noise.
instead of like, it's all noise. So instead of dealing with that, just step into the discomfort of the conversation or the whatever it is, and then you're actually dealing with what's real.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of what's made up in your head. And sometimes it's really hard. Like, sometimes conversations are hard.
But the conversations are hard because, and I'm going to tie a couple of things together here from the conversations are hard because in some way, shape, or form, we're afraid of betrayal from the other person. So they're going to betray us, not accept us.
Correct.
Or if we say this, I need to say it this way. And so as soon as you say, I need to say it this way because this is the safe way. Now, yes, some things you have to kind of like, what's the safest way to do this?
Yeah.
But as soon as we go, okay, I'm going to do it this way but that's not exactly what I want to say. Well, now we've betrayed ourselves. We push our authentic self down in those moments. And then we start to go, I'm just experiencing like this horrendous amount of grief. Yeah. I'm still not happy. In fact, this morning was interesting. I was recording another podcast. In the middle of the podcast, had nothing to do with what you and I are talking about.
Yeah.
But I had a little epiphany in the middle of it. Like, Rick, this is what you fucking love doing, man.
Yeah.
You love doing your podcast. You love having these conversations. You love helping people move through this. Why would you go try to do something else that doesn't bring you joy? Yep. Go build your freaking business, man, and go do the thing that really brings you joy.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing about that is you alluded to this earlier, but it's like if each of us does that, like, Rick, if you go do that, then you are bringing your joy into the world. You are bringing your passion, your heart, your capability, your empathy for your guys, and you're bringing that to the world, and that is a beautiful energetic expression into the world that we need way more of. Like if each of us does that, imagine the impact of that. And then the other piece that we always say is, what's not going to happen is we aren't going to get into a threshold moment, or you aren't going to be in this moment, and this 10-year plan is going to lay itself out as like,
oh yes it is. Oh yes it is, because
here it is. What's going to happen is that you're going to do that. You're going to go like, wait a second, I love podcasting. I love it. Like I love doing this. And so then you follow that and you do that. And then once you step in there, you're creating an energetic vibration in the world that says, I'm doing what I love. And then another door opens, and then another door opens, and then another door opens. And we can't see the whole path from where we are right here. But if you keep courageously stepping into the next thing, then things open as they open, thus training for the unknown, training for the now, being really present, because that's where things break open and emerge.
Well, and it's because I'm not betraying what I really want to be doing.
Correct.
It's
And
also,
I might say it the other way of like, you are honoring courageously and beautifully what your heart, what your passion, what your unique, beautiful vibration, reason for being in the world. You are honoring that, and what a gift that is to all of us.
it's really interesting, because this is another interesting twist, and then I want to get into talking, because all of the stuff that we betray and all this sort of stuff is truly the grief, and you're sitting in the grief right now. But here's another interesting epiphany that happened for me this morning. So obviously I'm doing 3 podcasts today, which is I never do that in one day.
Impressive.
But in the middle of that other one, and then coming into yours, I'm like, I'm really feeling energized by these. So let's roll back 4 months ago, 6 months ago, working full time in a job that I absolutely loved, had a lot of autonomy, totally remote job, had a lot of opportunity to do what I want to do as long as I keep showing up and producing, right? It's really hard to be doing podcasts and coaching on the side while you're doing the full-time gig. And I got to the point, Morgan, where I love my podcast. And this is like true. Rick is like opening up a whole lot on this one.
Yeah, beautiful.
I got to the point where I like, God, do I really need to do this podcast? Oh God, do I really need to do my men's group? Because the time compression was all around me.
Yep.
Now it's not there, because guess what? I don't have anything better to do than get to do these, do the work that gets done, all of this sort of stuff. And this is something I think a lot of us don't realize, that by living that life of do, and this got to happen, this got to happen. And then we're like, but I'm not having fun. I'm not having joy. Really? We're doing it to ourselves. And then we get into this place where we're just hurt. We're angry. We're experiencing grief. So you're sitting in the space of grief right now, navigating the loss of your mom. Many gay men have gone through grief of losing themselves, losing family, losing friends to the AIDS epidemic, we all have lost, okay?
Yeah.
One of the most interesting questions I get asked all the time is, when is it ever going to be different? I don't know that there's a different point on grief until it just happens. There is no magic thing like, here, poof, grief gone, bye-bye. What's your take on that whole scenario of somebody saying, okay, well, at what point does the grief actually shift? I don't think there's an answer to that.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, one piece that feels really important is just to share is that my mom and I did a lot of work. Like, you're going to visit your parents this weekend. We sat and went through her old yearbooks and old love letters and old nostalgia and pictures. And we spent time while she was still alive and vital doing those kinds of things, saying goodbye and going through that stuff. Yeah. So it actually makes this moment easier now, because I knew it was coming. We have done a beautiful healing work, acceptance, understanding each other in the way, in the beautiful way that we could love each other, and the limited way that we could love each other in a complicated way.
So I'm going to interrupt you there, because you just said something really beautiful.
Yeah.
In the beautiful way we could love each other, in the limited way we could love each other. Too often, it's got to be this way.
Right.
I just wanted to interrupt, because I want to say that's an Oprah moment. That's a tweetable right there, because it's so important.
Yep. Yeah, and so we could accept each other in the complexity of, and I can imagine with a lot of gay men and women that there's a huge amount of complexity in a relationship with your parents, of the lack of acceptance and the lack of understanding. And so just for me, I got to the place where we could be in that place and celebrate it. And so now sitting in the grief, to me, we have one thing I talk a lot about is little d death. Little d death. So little moments that die. Like you just had a little d death. You lost your job. And so there's an honoring of part of that part of your life is now gone. It won't come back, and it won't come back in the same way. And so there is a death in that. And not unlike a forest fire, right? That has to burn in order to rejuvenate and open space. I mean, that is the way of the natural world.
Yep.
That things die. Right now, the beautiful spring that's here in Portland, wildly early, I have to say, which is a little bit alarming, but beautiful flowers, everything's blooming. The flowers bloom, birth, and then they die. Death. And they die exactly when they do and how they do, no different. And so starting to learn to accept the little d deaths along the way. Then when big D death arrives, my mom dying, it's a little bit like, hey, old friend, here we are.
Right.
And what I know is that part of her living was I was able to celebrate her life.
Yep.
And celebrate the time we had. And now celebrate the opening of what happens now. And so in that way, the grief, it's like making friends with death is the way that grief moves. And that we have to understand that shit happens in the world. People die, things die, jobs go away.
Relationships end.
Relationships end. Capabilities, as we get older, we have, you can't hear as well, or you can't whatever. Like that is part of
cars break down and you got to replace the damn thing.
Cars break down, right, exactly. Like wild, crazy things happen that come totally sideways, and you can be in the disaster of it, or you can be in the oh wow, okay, here's life offering me an opportunity to learn. Here's life offering me an opportunity to feel deeply and to be sad and to cry and to be lonely. And so for me, that's the way that grief goes. It is a huge gift. It is a huge gift. And as the more that I can do to live life and to be with the people I love, doing the things I love doing, that then when death comes, big D death comes, I don't have regrets. I don't have to feel like, oh shit, oh. And I think that's the real kicker of grief, is the wish I had.
I was going to ask you what's a good tool that you would recommend, and you just did it without me even asking. I mean, the big D, little d is an amazing. There's actually in my coach training, we talk about the little T and the big T's. Like, little T's are truths that aren't really truths. The big T's are the truth. Like the truth, we need air, we need water. These are truths, right? Do I need friendship? Not really. It's a helpful. But when you start to look through the windows and you can navigate things, like so many things, like, okay, yeah, it's little T, it's true, I lost my job. It's not true that I'm not going to make it. That's yet to be seen. It's such a fascinating thing to dive into. So let's dive in. Speaking of diving in, let's talk about the book, The Invitation Beyond, and helping, really, really claiming that healthy masculinity.
Right.
Why was that an important thing for you to graciously gift out to the world?
Yeah, well, thank you. It's one of those things of I like to, like I wrote the book, but really the book wrote me. And what it did was it was me starting to listen in that way that I talked about earlier, like listening with the ears of my heart.
Right.
And the invitation beyond, what the original energy of it was saying, there are so many good men in the world, just like you were saying. Mm-hmm. I love doing my podcast. I love being in connection and coaching and working with people in these ways and opening them up.
Yep.
So the invitation is an invitation beyond that surface level nonsense, beyond that status quo, beyond that, like, here's what success looks like, and into our hearts. It really was an invitation for all the beautiful men, sensitive men, caring men with all these gifts and talents to bring them forth. And what the amazing thing that would happen if each of us stepped into those, towards those big T truths and away from the little T truths. If we started to learn the skills of how do we navigate being emotionally available? How do we step into those courageous moments? How do we be in the thresholds together and then like bring real life, bring the shit that we can really know. We know how we want to treat people. We know that what's happening in the world is craziness.
Yep.
It is insane how we are acting.
Yep.
We know there is a different way. So the invitation beyond is that call, is that poking, is that provocation to say, come on, y'all. Like, let's just show up with our hearts, with our passion, with our care, with our love, with our vulnerability, and then see what amazing things break open.
You are the second straight guy that I've had on the podcast in the last few months. And when I told some of my listeners who come to my men's group I was going to do this, they're like, well, how are you having straight guys on? I'm like, that's the reason why. We think we hold the corner office on all the bullshit that men go through because we're gay. And I said, first of all, you need to see some other men in the world that are just as sensitive, who have that depth of soul, who have those ears of, the ears of the heart, as you
Ears
talk
of the heart. Yeah.
That we have to start seeing each other if we're going to navigate this. We can't be the LGBTQ community, and this is what happens for the LGBTQ community, and this is what happens for the straight community. In fact, the other podcast I already did this morning was a straight gal, well, bisexual woman, who she works with gay men in trauma, because she's like, as a bisexual, my trauma is very similar to what you're going through, but it's actually exacerbated. It was a beautiful conversation. I love these moments where we're inviting people, and you call your book Reclaiming, that healthy masculinity.
Yeah.
I see it as an invitation to reclaim humanity.
Yeah,
Let's
absolutely.
see other in so many beautiful ways. And when I get the opportunity to have somebody who can articulate that in a way that goes, I don't really give a damn, Rick, if you're gay. You're a guy just like me, and we're all struggling like to be men in this masculine dominated world, when the other way is actually going to be better for humanity and for the planet.
Yeah. Yeah. And yes, right. And it's like so beautiful to sit with men in my men's groups, to work with the good young guys that I do and the men that I do, and to feel their hearts open, again, like gay, straight, right, left, it doesn't matter. It's like, no, beyond those labels, we are human beings. And the healthy masculine is the ability to be strong in the vulnerability, to be able to like sit with each other. And it is amazing. It's like so. Just last night in my men's group, I love those guys.
Yes,
like courageously stepping into these places, to having the conversations that we don't have in locker rooms, that we don't have in classrooms. To say like, here's I'm struggling with my partner. And I want him to, I want him to step, I want this, whatever. And how do I say this, or how do I do this, or our sex life isn't going as well, or whatever. It's like to sit with people in that. I just love it. Like in those threshold, in those intense moments, capital T truth moments.
I just did a video. I think it's coming out. I don't know. I just did a video. It's coming out in the next couple of days. And it's called, Are You Lonely in Your Relationship? And it's not just for gay men. There's a lot of people who are in relationships, heterosexual. They're lonely in their relationship. The conversations are not happening where we're willing to admit these are the things that are happening. And that was the whole reason I wanted to have you on this show today, because I feel like, the book that you have, these talks about how do you step in and deal with masculinity, like your masculinity stuff that you're dealing with is actually no different than what we are as gay men. You're a straight guy who's like, okay, I'm going to have some vulnerability, and I'm going to speak from the heart. I'm going to let my ears of my heart be there, and I'm going to talk about this stuff. And there's going to be a whole lot of straight guys that are going to go, he's got to be gay. He's too weird. He's too soft. Right. So you're not accepted any more than we are.
Correct.
Now, here's the
That's
difference.
right.
Oh, you're gay. Oh, so you're sensitive. No, that's the other thing. Because on the flip side of
Totally.
gay, there are a lot of gay guys who are like, I'm not super sensitive. Hey, let's go to the sports
Totally.
bar. Let's go work on trucks. Let's go build.
Right.
And suddenly in the gay community, they're like, oh, well, you're not. And actually, that one's coming up, boys. Get ready to listen because there's a podcast coming up going, are you gay enough or not? Too gay or not gay enough?
Right.
It's the same conversation of, are you masculine or not masculine enough?
Yep. And we got to claim the space. Yeah. And we got to claim the space of saying that our vulnerability, our sensitivity, our love, that it's not about straight, gay, whatever.
No.
It's about courageous and tender and alive and real and willing to step into those conversations, step into those uncomfortable places and do so with a huge amount of vulnerability and know that, it's not about getting it right. It's not about getting it right. It's about being willing to step in and be with our people and be within, the world in the way that it is.
Awesome. Well, Morgan, I'm so glad we got to connect. So glad that you're putting out there in the world what you're putting out. Guys, the book is The Invitation Beyond: Reclaiming Healthy Masculinity. I would encourage everybody to read it. I would say, don't go, well, he's not gay. I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
So much beautiful stuff out there in the world that doesn't have to be gay centric. I love you, my gay brothers. I love my community. But sometimes I feel like we fall into these spaces where if it's not gay, we're not going to do it. There's so many beautiful things that we can learn from each other. And you've just proven that. You've given of your heart. Again, condolences about the loss of your mother.
Thank you.
I can tell you are standing in the threshold, growing through it, navigating it, and going, okay, now here's how I now learn to show up differently, which probably isn't really that much different than you've always shown up, but there's going to be pieces of you that reveal. And I remember standing in my grandfather's room in his senior care facility and witnessing the last breath.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it. There is no thrill ride at Disney World or anything. There's nothing that can make you feel more human to see the human leave.
Yep.
And I learned so much from that process.
Yeah. And really everything we're talking about here is taking that beautiful moment and saying, let's not wait until that moment to start living our lives.
No.
Let's do it now. Let's be in the threshold moments of having the conversations, of bringing ourselves alive, to honor that moment, to honor, my mom. And so blessings to you. Thank you, Rick, again, for putting your heart into the world. I hope you have a great trip home to see your parents and that just connect with them in all the ways you want to. And
well, it's going to take 4 days out of my life of just sit around eating bonbons, drinking and going, life is over. No, that's not what I'm doing, guys. You guys know me too well. I'm like, okay, bitch, let's get going. What are we going to do now?
Let's go.
Let's get on that bike and ride. Ironically, that's the shirt I'm wearing. But anyway, so
there you go.
Morgan, thank you, my brother. So good to meet you. I appreciate it. And guys, just another week, you're going to have another episode of 40 Plus Gay Men Gay Talk. And I'm not going to tell you what's coming because I always like to leave the little mystery, but I can promise you it will be good. And if you want to connect with Morgan, get his book, learn about his coaching, I would inspire some of you to go, hey, go coach with a straight guy, because guess what? You will probably learn a whole lot more about yourself than you think. But we will have all that on the show page, every way to connect with him, every way to get his book. So again, brother, thank you so much. Totally appreciate you.
Thank you.
That's a wrap for 40 Plus Gay Men, Gay Talk, where size doesn't matter. We drop our bullshit, get over our screwed up fears, make bold moves, and live life without apologies. Don't forget to join us on Facebook at 40 Plus Gay Men, Gay Talk, where the conversations continue.